everybody, my name is Paige and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a book haul of about 10 books. I got some from thrifting, I got some from Barnes. I've gotten a lot of fall books, which I'm really excited about because I do want to read a lot of thrillers in the fall and I'm just really excited. And then I did get some books that I haven't heard of before, which is really exciting. They sounded really interesting and so I picked them up and I was like, why not? So I'm really excited to show you these books and let's go ahead and get into the haul. The first book that I got is Killer Instinct. So this is the second book in the Naturals series. The Naturals I read in a couple of days. I flew through it. I absolutely loved it. It's a YA book, so it's a pretty quick read. I love her writing style. I really need to pick up the Inheritance Games by her. But this is kind of like Criminal Minds, but if they were teenagers. So you have all of these teenagers and they have these natural abilities. So they are like hired by the FBI to help try and solve old cold cases, and they all kind of live together in this house. They do trainings. It's really interesting. There's a little bit of romance in there. It's just amazing. The first book was so good. There's like a plot twist in there that you don't see coming at all, and I definitely recommend this series, and I can't wait to read this one and then read the rest. I've heard amazing things about the rest of the books in this series, so I can't wait. The second book I got was Stalking Jack the Ripper. So I had this on my Goodreads want to read from 2 years ago, 2022, and I haven't really heard of it since then. I think I've heard of maybe one person reading it since then and they liked it, but I haven't heard of it from anyone. It's not like a very popular like book talk or booktube or booksta book. So I decided to grab it and give it a try. The description on the back sounds really good. It says, he murdered women in cold blood. He terrorized an entire city. He taunted those of us who hunted him down. But despite all these horrors, in the end, I cannot deny it. I was the girl who loved the Ripper. So that really sucked me in and I had to buy it after I read that. It just sounded amazing and it definitely sounds like a book that I will be reading in the fall. It sounds a little spooky and I mean, I can't get past this cover. This cover is amazing. There is a new cover of this, and I was between this and the new cover, but I like the original covers better. So that is our second book. I'm really excited to read this one this fall. I think it'll definitely show up on some of my fall TBRs. After I got those books, I ended up kind of walking around for a little bit longer. I looked in the romance a little bit, but I wasn't seeing romances that I absolutely wanted. And then I looked in the thriller section and the horror section, and I wasn't seeing any of those that I like absolutely wanted. So I ended up walking downstairs and then I saw a table that said buy one get one half off for thrillers, which those always suck me in. I always have to go to those because it's a deal. So I went there and I was getting really overwhelmed because I never know like what books I should get off of those tables. And so an employee was there and I asked her for some recommendations and she gave me a couple, ended up getting 2 of them. So the first book I got was The Maidens. I read The Silent Patient by this author and I loved it. I had to like put the book down when we got to the twist. It was insane. And so I'm really hoping I like this one. Let's read the back together. Edward Fosca? I'm not sure. I'm going to say Fosca. Edward Fosca is a murderer. Of this Mariana is certain. But Fosca is untouchable, a handsome and charismatic Greek tragedy professor at Cambridge University. Fosca is adored by staff and students alike, particularly by the members of a secret society of female students known as the Maidens. Mariana Andros is a brilliant but troubled group therapist. Sorry, I'm laughing at the cat, who becomes fixated on the Maidens when one member, a friend of Mariana's niece Zoe, is found murdered in Cambridge. Mariana, who was once herself a student at the university, quickly suspects that behind this idyllic beauty of the spires and turrets and beneath the ancient traditions lies something sinister, and she becomes convinced that despite his alibi, Edward Fosca is guilty of the murder. But why would the professor target one of his students? And why does he keep returning to the rites of Persephone, the maiden, and her journey to the underworld? When another body is found, Mariana's obsession with proving Fosca's guilt spirals out of control, threatening to destroy her credibility as well as her closest relationships. But Mariana is determined to stop this killer, even if it costs her everything, including her own life. That sounds so good. It's like more of a dark academia vibe, which I don't have that many of those types of books, so I'm really excited that I have this one now. And I cannot wait to read this. Again, I'm probably going to end up reading this fall. It sounds so good, and I can't wait to read more about this author because I loved The Silent Patient so much. The second book recommended to me by the employee was Strange Sally Diamond. So I had never heard of this book or this author before, but as you can see, it's their monthly pick. So I had this employee tell me about it, and then I had another employee tell me about it. So I definitely felt like I had to pick it up. So I'm going to read the back of what it's about. For Sally Diamond, people are unpredictable and hard to read. She has always preferred routines to spontaneity and silence to noise. Adopted at age 6, she cannot remember any details of her childhood before then. Now 43, Sally finds the truth coming into sharp focus when her past becomes headline news. She endured something unthinkable as a child, and now the entire world knows exactly who she is. Suddenly, Sally herself is in the spotlight. People everywhere are digging into her past, and Sally is learning that things about herself and her family that she never knew before. Soon a stranger sends her family a teddy bear in the mail. But why does he call her Mary? And why is her new neighbor so obsessed with her? Told from the alternating perspectives of Sally in the present and a boy named Peter in the past, this is a novel that confronts the trauma of family secrets and explores one woman's brave decision to define herself and her future. This sounds really good. I know this author has some other books. They're on the back here. I had heard about this one before, but I hadn't heard about the other ones, and I hadn't heard about this new book. It's definitely a little bit shorter, which is good. I like thrillers sometimes a little bit shorter because sometimes they drag on a little bit, but this one definitely won't because it's a little shorter. I'm really excited to read this because I had so many people recommend it to me at that store. So I'm really excited to get into this, and it's a new release, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember exactly when it was released, but it's a newer release. So yeah, that is our fourth book. After that Barnes trip, which was by myself, my grandma ended up coming down to stay with me for a little bit, and I went back to Barnes & Noble with her, and she got me a couple more books. So the first book she got me was Fable. I had heard about this. This was another one I'd heard about years ago, but I haven't heard about recently. And from the description on the back, I mean, it just says, "Welcome to a world made dangerous by the sea and by those who wish to profit from it, where a young girl must find her place and her family while trying to survive in a world built for men." So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's kind of about like her mom dies and then her father abandons her on this island, and she's kind of has to survive, and she has to like learn who she can trust and kind of not really talk to anybody and use like the skills her mother has taught her to survive on this island. I think it's giving like kind of pirate vibes. I don't know if that's the vibes it's supposed to go for, but those are the vibes I'm getting. It says, but her father's rivalries and dangers of his trading enterprise have only multiplied since she last saw him, and Fable soon finds that West isn't who he seems. Together they will have to survive more than the treacherous storms that haunt the Narrows if they're going to stay alive. Oh, I guess she meets somebody else. She enlists the help of a young trader named West to get her off the island. So I'm wondering if there will be a romance there, maybe. I'm not sure. This is another YA book. Just throwing that out there again in case people don't like YA, but that is our fifth book. For our last book from Barnes that my grandma got me, she got me Catherine of Aragon, the True Queen. So I've been wanting to read this series for forever. It's about the wives of Henry VIII, and so it's 6 Tudor queens, and it's about his 6 wives, and this is a topic that I am so interested in. I've done so much research on it. I also love the musical Six, so I wanted to read this series so bad. I think it's like historical fiction, so it's kind of like the story of her, but it's told fiction-wise, so dramatized a little bit, or some things aren't obviously historically accurate, but I'm really excited that I get to start this one. I've been wanting to read this for forever. I saw somebody talk about it years ago, and it's been in my mind ever since then. So I'm really excited I have my hands on this one now, and I can't wait to read the rest of the series. My favorites are Catherine Howard and Anne Boleyn, just based off the musical and just like what happened to them. They're my favorites, but I'm really excited to like dig deep into each of them with these historical fiction books. And yeah, I'm just really excited about this. If you're interested in history, then I think that this would be a good book. I've heard great things about it, and I'm really excited to get this read. So that is our 6th book, and now we will be moving on to my thrifted books. So the next 4 books I got today when I went to Goodwill. So they were really cheap, but they looked really interesting, and I had heard about one of the authors that I got, and then I looked the other ones up on Goodreads just to like see if anybody I know has read them. And so the first one I got was Writers and Lovers, and I saw Destiny Sidwell, I'm pretty sure, had left a review on this one as a 4-star review, I think. So that kind of convinced me to read it or grab it just because her and I have very similar book tastes. So I grabbed this one. It says, blindsided by her mother's sudden death and wrecked by a recent love affair, Casey Peabody has arrived in Cambridge, Massachusetts in the summer of 1997 without a plan. Her mail consists of a wedding invitation and final notices from debt collectors. A former child golf prodigy, she now waits tables in Harvard Square and rents a tiny moldy room at the side of a garage where she works on the novel she's been writing for 6 years. At 31, Casey is still clutching on to something nearly all her old friends have let go of, the determination to live a creative life. When she falls for 2 different men at the same time, her world fractures even more. Casey's fight to fulfill her ambitions and balance the conflicting demands of art and life is challenged in ways that push her to the brink. So, this sounds really good. It says author of Euphoria, so I'm not sure if anybody has heard of this author before, Lily King. But the book was $1.99, so I had seen good things about it on Goodreads when I picked it up. And also on the back, there is a thing from Ellen Hildebrand and Madeline Miller. So that's really cool. I know both of those authors, and I love Ellen Hildebrand, and I've heard really good things about Madeline Miller. So that makes me really excited to read this book, and it sounds really good. So that is our first thrifted book. The next book I got, I had never heard of before, but it sounded really interesting. It doesn't have the best reviews on Goodreads, but I don't always like books that everybody else likes either, so I decided to grab it to give it a try. It is called Teardrop. So it says, everywhere Eureka goes, he is there. Ander, a mysterious blonde boy who tells her she's in danger. Ander knows things about Eureka she doesn't yet know herself, but not her darkest secret. Ever since her mother drowned in a freak accident, Eureka wishes she were dead too. She has little left that she cares about, just her friend Brooks and some heirlooms, a locket, a letter, a mysterious stone, and an ancient book about a girl who got her heart broken and cried an entire continent into the sea. But Ander has some secrets of his own. The haunting tale is more than a story. It's real, and Eureka's life has far more evil undercurrents than she ever imagined. So, I know this author has written another series that I saw people talking about, but I decided to give this one a try. Again, it doesn't have the best reviews, but it sounds really interesting. I don't know what genre it is. It says teen reads, maybe it's YA, but it's really tiny, not tiny text, like bigger text, so it'll probably fly pretty quickly. So that is our second thrifted book. The last 2 books I got are by the same author. So it is an author I've followed on TikTok for forever, and I've been wanting to get my hands on her books because they sound so good, and I've seen so many good things about them, but I just haven't been able to find them. So I found 2 today at the thrift store. They were both $1.99, and I got Broken, and It's Our Secret by W. Winters. So this is obviously a more discreet cover. This is a less discreet cover, but let's start with Broken. It says, it is a gripping, standalone romantic suspense with an edge of darkness. I never thought of a life like the petals of a rose before, but they're so alike. Delicate and easily crushed. Broken, just like he made me. He could pluck away, and there would be nothing I could do except be destroyed and accept my fate. That's what he does. He ruins what he touches, ruthless and cold-hearted. They gave me to him, to break, to do as he'd like. All because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He grew addicted to the feel of plucking away at me. He leaves me bare and taking control over every piece of me. And if I'm honest with myself, I grew to love it too. So this sounds definitely like a dark romance, but I've heard amazing things about all her books, so I'm really excited to read this one. And then the other one, the sticker is kind of over what it's about, but it is once again emotionally gripping romantic suspense. It was only a little lie. That's how stories like these get started. With every lie I told, he saw right through me. I think in his heart he knew I was broken. He felt my pain as if it was his. And that's what changed everything. He's the reason it all fell apart. Sometimes it's a single moment that alters everything in existence. Sometimes it's the chain reaction of falling dominoes, lined up in a pretty little row and designed so that each one will cause more and more pain as it topples. So, I can't read the rest because it's covered by the sticker. But this is one I've had on my Goodreads for a while, wanting to read by her. I've heard good things about this one. I haven't heard so much about the other one, but I've definitely heard good things about this one. So I'm excited that I finally have 2 of her books, and I got them at a thrift store for pretty cheap. So I'm really excited about that because I've been trying to find her books for forever. So that is that. That is our last book, which is crazy that I just rapid fired those so quick. So that is all 10 books I have for today's video. I am really excited about all of them. If you have read any of them, let me know, and let me know which one you've read and what you thought of it. I'm really excited to get into these books, but I also have so many books in my physical TBR, but you will definitely see a lot of these come around in the next couple of months on fall TBRs and stuff, so I'm really excited about that. So that is all I have for today's video, so if you like it, go ahead and give it a like. If you like me, you can go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys!